Good, hard physical practice. Got some good on good. Got a lot of scout work in. Good effort for the most part. We got some things done, accomplished. Put some, in our game plan as we go. Kids are working very solidly. Let's get ready to play. And then again, been almost 2 weeks again. So you just got to get ourselves in that game mode, get good on good, and get flying around today.
Does it feel like you're finally getting into like a normal game week?
Not yet. I mean, you're starting to right now, but not yet. I mean, you want to get it and then play a game and get the next one, and we got to get going. Not quite yet. You know what I'm saying?
You getting Kermit some more reps of the ones on that kick return?
We're trying to a little bit. We're trying to make sure we get him in there. He feels very comfortable, so we can give him some opportunities when we think the time is right. Because I think we got to get him involved and get him going.
Obviously, speed. What else does he bring?
Well, I mean, just speed, athleticism. He's a natural kick returner, but we got to make sure he's ready before we put him in there.
How do you know that? How do you know when somebody's ready?
You don't. You just take a guess and think and watch how they practice. Go by how they practice and how they prepare and how their mental focus is, and I know how many mistakes they make compared to how many not, how they read things and how they handle things. Then you got to play it by ear. You never know till you know.
Do you see him kind of getting into that?
He's getting there. Got a little ways to go, but he's getting there. And sometimes you got to force feed him a little bit.
Right.
Obviously, Nevada's quarterback. I don't know if you've heard yet, but he was, I guess, day to day with a sprained knee.
He took a shot in the last game, but he came back in the game and played. So and they were still very effective. So we're preparing as if he's playing. We got to prepare. That guy's a great player.
Does that change anything though for you guys? Or are you just preparing kind of also for their offense?
Well, we got to prepare for their offense. You got to prepare for him, and then you got to prepare for their offense. And I don't know how much we don't have hardly any film of that guy not playing. So, he's a great player. So we have to prepare that way, and then be prepared for everything else. Be sound in everything else.
Is having a guy like him who is mobile and can do some things like that a good test for a defensive scheme that's
it don't matter if it's old, new, it's crossways. That guy's torched a lot of good people. He's going to be a test no matter who the heck's playing against him. But it will be. But the guy's a very good player. He's a heck of a player. He'll be a test for anybody. He's a heck of a player.
You mentioned being excited to kind of go up against that no-huddle offense. Talk about what that can be as far as a learning experience for you guys to go against that tempo, the read option going forward too.
Well, you got to. It's the nature of ball today. That's what everybody's doing. So that's football today, and everybody knows how to play it, and you got to play it, and you got to play it consistently, and it'll be a great challenge.
There's been several coaches, Nick I think is one of them, that have been a little bit vocal about not particularly liking that type of offense because you can't substitute on defense as much as you might like to. What's your take on it?
Listen, it sells tickets. It's going to be good for the fans. People have to get an advantage to be able to play, and I think it gives you an advantage. But, if it's something that we find that is not medically is the word. If it's dangerous or we think too many snaps or something, then maybe they'll make an adjustment. But I don't see that ever happening. I don't. And that's you got to adapt. That's the way ball is today. That's part of it.
For a team that runs tempo like that, how important is it to have as deep a defensive line as you guys have?
You got to have it. You got to have it all the way across the board because they can get some snaps in. But the good thing is what you got to be able to do is stop them. You stop them, then they ain't on the field very long. But that's a lot easier said than done.
How do you manage trying to substitute in a situation like that?
You don't. You got to substitute series probably, or when they change personnel, they got to allow you to change personnel. That's what you got to wait for.
I guess Coach Alt, when he was coming up with that concept, part of it was he was saying that Nevada, they didn't have the resources to compete at a high level, so they had to do something to sort of differentiate themselves.
Right.
Have you seen that? Not just them, but at programs around the country.
I think everybody does. That's definitely the answer. That when you get all these people that are big and more physical than you, you have to do something. It's like playing basketball. If you got a team of 7-footers, and you got to run them, but you got to rebound in the meantime. So it goes back. It's a cat and mouse game. Back and forth. You got to do what your guys can do and give yourself a chance to win.
Jimbo, you talked about Jameson's poise early in the press conference. Is that some of the recruiting that stuck out to you when you saw him play?
Well, yeah, you think he has it, but until you get into the lights and everything goes on, and there's still a growing process that's got to go with it. But you think they had it. I thought he had it anyway. I hope he keeps it.
Quarterbacks. Obviously you recruit and scout a lot of those guys. Is that one of the main things?
Oh, it is. You have their presence and poise and composure and how they handle things, and you try to evaluate. Bad thing is you don't get to see them in person enough. Though that's the thing. It's hard. You know what I mean? You can see. You can watch a film, and I watch film, and the guy be someone guy have a 5 touchdown performance, but you're not be impressed. And the guy have a 1 touchdown performance, but you watch his man. You can get still when you can't evaluate in person. It still makes it hard. Being able to get there is the key. Being able to be around them.
Did you ever get to see him on Friday
yes.
night?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Did he play well?
Yeah, he played well. He played very well. It was our off week last year or whatever it was. I went up there. I remember.
Yeah.
He went to Hueytown.
Oh, you mentioned Kenny before, but I mean, he showed again this last Saturday how good he is.
Kenny.
Punt return shot.
Yeah, he's doing a very nice job. He's playing good on offense too. He's being very solid all the way across the ball. Tell me, daggum, I can't even get on your butt no more. I hope it stays that way. I mean, he's been playing very solidly in all phases.
When you first put him over there last year, was it more thinking that he's going to be because he can secure the ball?
Well, the number one job in punt return is ball security. Then you got to be able to get first downs. But he's got quickness, and he's developed into a very nice punt returner. And he had those quickness and those traits, but the first thing that attracted us to us was his great ball skills, not letting the ball on the ground.
Shard Green, can you talk about how helpful he's been to Jameis and just being that consistent, number one guy?
They've all three been. I mean, he's been number one guy, but all three of those guys have been very consistent. And the tight end Nick, and picking up blitzes. I mean, everybody's been very consistent for him. But Rashad is also very critical. I mean, Rashad does a lot. He's a heck of a football player.
How good did Tobin play Monday night?
Pretty good.
It seemed at the beginning he was everywhere.
He was. He made some play. I mean, he played a good ball game. He played a very good ball game. He really did. He's very instinctive, boy. Makes those plays.
And in practice, have you seen it? I mean, he's always been
he plays
a
that
loud
way
guy,
all the time.
right?
He plays that way all the time.
But is he a leader?
Oh, without a doubt. It's probably one of the best ones you got. Could be at the top of the list.
How about Christian in that game? It was the first time he was really lined up with his hand in the dirt.
Being a pass rusher, yeah, he did. I tell you what, he got some nice. He didn't get any sacks, but he got a lot of hurries, got a lot of pressures, hit the quarterback, affected the quarterback. Very natural what he's doing. Did a very nice job.
Is that something that you feel like he's used to or getting used to still?
Probably still getting used to. I mean, I think he's natural at it, but you still got to do it a few times, and there's a learning curve goes with it. But I like his progress.